Continuing on, we actually have the real arcade game that actually got a port for the NES, which is right here. TMNT 2, the arcade game, which I really love the fun facts here that I actually have 2 new levels, which both of which are really good. I do really like them. And notice the third line right there that says that the 2 in the title suggests this is a sequel. But this game is based on the first arcade release and doesn't really continue the story of the previous Nintendo Entertainment System game. So the previous NES game have nothing to do with this. So I guess it was just like maybe a North American exclusive. Something like, I don't know, like maybe the NES version of Metal Gear, and to a lesser extent Snake's Revenge. But I digress here. This is the box art to TMNT, the arcade game for the NES. Definitely more online on what we actually got versus the original. And it's even online and on par with the Japanese box art too. So, extra points for that. More artwork here. There's April O'Neil, Master Splinter, which you do see them very brief. This one right here in the arcade. We gotta save Splinter! Oh man. Just hearing the arcade voices in my head just kind of stuck with me. And then of course you got the NES portraits of the characters. Not as sharp compared to the arcade version, but for what they were worth, I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with them whatsoever. At least you can actually tell who is who, and at least you can actually see who is who. I like how they make the jump animation here. They look so cheesy. Enemy roll call from this game. Roadkill Rodneys. Easily the worst enemies that I can ever deal with in these games. I'm willing to forgive the Venom. I'm willing to forgive the Shogun. I'm willing to forgive the Vincent Van Growl freaking tiger thing. But seriously, Roadkill Rodneys, easily the worst thing I could ever deal with, not only in this game, but also arcade version of Turtles in Time and even SNES Turtles in Time. Like, and then you see right here, we got right over here, the boss of said exclusive stage right here, which anyone who actually watched Tiny Toons kind of reminds me of that dog. I believe his name was his name is like escaping me right now. It's a bit of a shame because I've actually played Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose, which was also made by Konami. You know, Konami or even Digital Eclipse. I would like for you guys to do a Tiny Toons collection. You know, would be nice. Try to bring some of these games to us. Now here's my favorite of the NES games. I actually do have a t-shirt with this box art. TMNT 3, the Manhattan Projects. Or Manhattan Project. I used to call it with an S. I don't know why, but I digress. I like the fact that I even said the Turtles are vacationing in Florida. Ironic because by the time I actually got this game a week before my vacation, I was going to Florida. I don't know if it was irony or it was just something for the beginning or who knows. Maybe a lot of people go to Florida. I wouldn't blame them. Florida is where a good chunk of fun is at. Universal Orlando, Gatorland, Disneyland, or Disney World. You got all different areas too, like the Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Blizzard Beach. I'm pretty sure those are like outdated by now because they got replaced by new stuff like Avengers stuff. But that's neither here or there. Now here is something that's actually interesting. So the Japanese version actually have this as TMNT 2, which I guess kind of makes sense since the original TMNT game on NES did not make its way to Japan. So it wouldn't really be called TMNT 3 over there. It's kind of like how Batman Returns on NES, for whatever reason, they decided to call it Batman 3. despite the fact that we got Batman 89, and then Sunsoft did the spin-off game, or follow-up game, Return of the Joker, and then after when Batman Returns came out for NES, they just decided to call it Batman 3, as if I'm willing to accept the first Batman game to be much more canonical, but that was just licensed games back in the day. You got Leo's art right here. I mean, what can I actually say without repeating myself? I really love how dedicated like all the artists did when it came to these games back in the day, and I love on how beautifully preserved they are in here in this booklet. Like, this is just some top-notch stuff here. I really do respect anyone who actually worked on these games back in the day from Konami. It's interesting because I had a few people ask me, would I like a new TMNT game from them? The answer is kind of complicated, but one could dream, but I don't really think their hearts would be in it. Especially since, like, I appreciate that Konami is, like, back on their feet, you know, with their recent stuff they've been releasing, like Contra, Operation Galuga, Gradius Origins Collection, Castlevania Dominus Collection, which is basically the DS games, Silent Hill 2 Remake, Silent Hill F, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater Delta, and coming soon, Silent Hill Townfall, and some weird octopus game called Darwin's, it had Darwin in it. I wasn't really thinking about it. Even more Mousers. At least they look a little menacing here. They don't look so derpy compared to that first NES game. Here are the bosses of the game. And more bosses. This game was very rich when it comes to like the length, which I really appreciate. When it comes to like NES beat 'em up games, this is definitely a top tier for me. I know there's a lot out there like Double Dragon, Battletoads, Mighty Final Fight, which the latter Mighty Final Fight I actually did try via Street Fighter 6, which you actually can unlock it and play it, along with Mega Man 3, Street Fighter 2010, the Final Fight, and Bionic Commando, I think it is. And now we have the final game in the NES, the line of NES games, the admirable TMNT Tournament Fighters. Not many fighting games on NES, which that's something, that's an accomplishment, right? I don't think there really were any fighting games on NES. I mean, it's really hard to do like a fighting game where you have like 2 buttons and a D-pad. But kudos to Konami for actually making one, which I tried it. It was okay. For what it was worth, it's being the only fighting game on that system, it have its importance. It have its importance, but that's not exactly saying much. Now, I know some of these are characters like in the comics or anything, but I never actually read them. So, yeah, I can't really say much on this one right here.